That was kind of creepy. Was this a disembodied head or something?
You mean this little guy?
Yeah, alright. Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of From My Mother's Basement, the show that basically celebrates being a geek. I'm Jason.
And I am Michael, messing around with the spare head for the Storm Shadow Sideshow Collectible.
That just came in the other day, right?
Yeah, Nikki just got her Sideshow Collectible. It's really cool.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
It's actually as high a quality, even though he's shorter, it's actually as high a quality as the Baroness statue.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Dude, it's great. I'm going to be doing a photo shoot with it later, so it's going to be awesome. I'll post them on the Flickr.
Cool. All right. Well, Michael, what have you been up to the past few days besides messing around with random disembodied heads?
Random disembodied heads. I told you I beat BioShock Infinite, but that was last week.
Right.
Let's see, this week, what have I been doing? Working, prepping for Comic-Con, because I'm going to get to go next weekend.
Nice, very nice.
Yes. And I'm this close to finishing the damn Justice League. I got like 2 episodes to go and it's done. Let's see, other than that, I had something and I forgot what it was. So my life's been pretty busy. How about you?
I've been all over the place the past few days, whether going down to San Diego for a birthday dinner for a friend, going with another friend to go see Pacific Rim and getting Epic Ramen.
Oh my God.
I will not say anything about...
I need to see that movie.
I know. I will not spoil anything for you.
I appreciate it.
Pure, unadulterated fun. It's a great kaiju flick.
And I can't wait.
Yes. And a couple of my friends were joking here and there that we should actually stop by Walmart yesterday. And I was like, why? And then came across the fact that, yes, Twinkies are back.
Yes!
Twinkies, all the host of stuff. And all I could think to this was America.
It's all about America.
I was just like, okay, I mean...
America and Twinkies.
Here's the thing, that when they were going out of business, earlier this year, we were joking so much about how many people were going crazy for the treat, and I'm sure most of them haven't had a Twinkie.
Wilson in the next World War Z movie would be like all screwed out. But you know what? Honestly, it's kind of cool though, because all the hubbub and stuff that generated saved the company.
That
be honest.
Yeah, that is true. Although the way I see it is, given the fact that I'm trying to lose weight, having these back is a bad thing. So that's just me.
I'm lucky. I mean, I like Twinkies. I will have one every couple years, maybe. I'm not a huge Twinkie fan, though. Who makes the Charlie Brown snack cakes? The ones
I don't remember off the top of my head.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? They're like Twinkies, but they've got the frosting on top.
Yes.
Those are evil.
Well, okay, I'll give you that. But let's go back to the fact that you're going to Comic-Con, you lucky SOB. So,
yes.
Now, I know there's a ton of stuff going on during Comic-Con and, of course, outside Comic-Con. We're just going to talk about a few things here and there. There's no way we could fit in the span of an hour everything that's going on in the course of those 4 days.
Good God, no.
So, plus that'd be fairly boring. So, so we're just going to talk about just a few things that popped up that actually look kind of cool. First off, we've talked about already Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We know it's going to be there. We know it's going to be over an hour-long panel, an hour and 15 minutes. They haven't really stated what is going to happen during that panel. They did confirm, though, that in the pilot that will be on ABC this September will not reveal the truth behind Agent Coulson's mysterious resurrection. Of course, it's funny that they're even hinting that Coulson's resurrection is even unbeknownst to himself. Like the reason
well, that goes back to that whole thing of him being the Vision.
True.
Remember that there was that speculation of Coulson becoming the Vision. So I personally think that'd be crapping out. My personal opinion. I don't see it, because you actually see him in the promo shots of him. You've seen him in his normal suit.
Yes, very true.
So
it's kind of curious. I'm hoping that, given the fact that they have such a large time frame, they'll at least show something, not an entire episode, but at least maybe a 15-minute clip, which thankfully will find its way online one way or another, so I can actually...
Given that it's Comic-Con, I would not put it past them to show the pilot. They've done it before.
This is true.
They've done it with us. They did it with I can't remember the name of the show. I mean, they've done it with various shows on Sci-Fi Channel where they've actually run the entire first episode.
Right.
So
given the fact that Marvel has a lot of things going on this year, not just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., of course, they're also going to bring stuff about Thor 2, The Dark World, and Captain America, The Winter Soldier. So those ones, I'm guessing you'll at least get trailers. You'll probably get some, a short Q&A session. I'm sure there will be some sort of bonus. Maybe somebody will pop up, a special guest or something like that. I mean, you're obviously going to have Joss Whedon at all of these. So
yeah, you expect Whedon's going to be there. You expect of course Skarsgård's probably going to be there. Not Skarsgård.
Of course,
is it Skarsgård? Who's the guy who played Thor? Is it Skarsgård?
No.
I forget his damn name. It's some Norwegian, Scandinavian name. Well, either way, he's going to probably show. Yes. The guy who played Johnny Storm, aka Captain America, is going to be there.
And it just seems like the past few years that Joss Whedon's been like the messiah of nerds going to Comic-Con. Am I wrong with this, or?
Yeah. I mean, he's the big thing. But he's been doing a lot of stuff too. I mean,
this is true.
What I would not put past them is for them to, because the other question, we know the name of the movie, we know what's going on. That between Thor and now Iron Man 3's run, Captain America 2's getting ready to run. The people are going to be asking all about Avengers 2.
Yeah.
And they're going to drop tidbits of it.
Well, yeah, they're smack dab in the middle of promoting all of Phase 2. So I'm hoping for more information for Guardians of the Galaxy to pop up somewhere.
Oh, man. I want to see the CG of Rocket Raccoon.
That should be awesome.
I want the CG of Rocket Raccoon. But completely unrelated to the Marvel-verse, I want them to drop information about the next Tron movie.
Well, the way Disney presented the idea, the concept for Tron Legacy at Comic-Con, a few years ago,
which was them feeling out the audience acceptance,
and they got a massive response from it. So
yes,
yeah, I can definitely see them doing something similar to that. As far as bringing like the End of Line Club back for this year, I doubt it, especially for the fact that Legendary Pictures. Riding high on the recent release of Pacific Rim, they're going to be pushing Godzilla like none other.
Are they going to be pushing Godzilla, or are they going to be pushing the next 300?
This picture taken by a fan wandering around the streets of San Diego, showcasing exactly what to expect. Yeah, they've taken over an entire building, and who knows what's going to be happening inside there.
That was by Legendary?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
So they're going to push this.
Are they finally going to make it up for Gyno? For those of you who don't know what Gyno is, it's Gino, Godzilla in name only, which was the one from
with Matthew Broderick and whatnot.
Yeah, with Matthew Broderick and Jean Reno, who was the best part of the damn movie.
Yes, I'd agree. A couple of the other movies real quick that they're going to talk about during Comic-Con. There's only a few movie panels this year, surprisingly. So of those that are getting them, you also have, of course, for the new the sequel, Catching Fire. That's going to obviously get its own bit here and there. We also know, well, not really a movie, but I know Walking Dead, they're going to be promoting or celebrating their 10th year anniversary. Well, 10th year of the graphic novel, yeah. Right.
Well, they're also going to have the survival course again. It's going to be different, but they're doing the survival course, the zombie survival course again.
True.
And there's a small part of me that wants to try it, and then there's the rest of me that's like, no, I'm so fat and out of shape, no way in hell. Maybe next year.
What's funny though is that I look at some of the other things they're going to be showcasing, like I Frankenstein.
I'm curious about that one.
Yeah, I look at it and I'm like, okay, first off, I got to say the little snapshot they gave us of the poster. How many times has this shot been used in the past few years, over and over again? You have a guy back to the camera, looking over his shoulder, probably carrying something, and death and destruction behind him.
Well, yeah, that's right up there with the big trend for the while. You saw it in Buffy. In fact, I think Buffy started it. You saw it in Firefly. You saw it in Doctor Who. You saw it in Torchwood. Was the group walking in slow motion. One of them has a long jacket flowing behind them. Whether it's, you even saw it in freaking NCIS, for crying out loud.
True.
That was like the shot du jour. The entire team looking dramatic, walking slowly through whatever. This is that version of it, Well,
like the shout out in the chat says, it's a glamour shot of sorts. I guess you can call it.
Yeah, it is a glamour shot,
yeah.
but it's. It's the intensely staring shot.
Yes.
You know, it's the I'm brooding. Oh no.
Well,
I am the night. Oh wait.
Well, I know there's a number of different panels going on during Comic-Con that just run the gamut from comics to movies to whatever else. The one that I'm sad that I'm not able to make it is based for a TV series that's from Britain, and it's actually coming stateside. Season 1 and Season 2 have already shown up, surprisingly on PBS, not on BBC America.
But they're finally going to run it on BBC America, I hear.
That'd be interesting if they do. Of course, PBS has been running high on Downton Abbey, so I'm not surprised that they picked up what we're talking about, which is Sherlock. They're going to be at Comic-Con. They're talking about the 3rd season, which will premiere in 2014 on PBS. So at least we know that's coming. It's coming down the pipeline. I'm hoping we'll actually have more like season 4, season 5, keep on going, because I really like this idea of a modern day Sherlock Holmes. That actually works really
and being
well.
as dysfunctional as he is, but and yet brilliant, and that's of the modern adaptation. This blows away the one with Lucy Liu and Johnny Lee Miller. Don't get me wrong, I like me some Crash Override, but come on, guys.
I don't know. I looked at it, and I what we're talking about is Elementary, and I watched a couple episodes, and I went, no, this. I personally could not get behind it.
Yeah, no, I tried to. I sat through an episode, and Lucy Liu's hotness notwithstanding, I could not suffer that again. It was that bad. I'm sorry. I mean, he was basically a British monk. The way they played him up, he was basically a British version of Monk.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't think so. Let's go ahead and stick with the Cumberbatch and the other guy, and it's awesome. I just hope they do more than 3 episodes this time, because this 3-episode series crap is getting old.
I mean, that's classic British television. They shrink down the length.
It's what they call a summer series. It's what we call in the States a mini-series. You know,
but they're mini movies. They're an hour and a half each. I mean,
oh yeah, and they're good. They're extremely well written, extremely well acted. I mean, if you haven't seen the first season 1 and season 2 of Sherlock, you're in for a treat. I mean, it's fantastic writing, interesting twists on the characters. I mean, what they did with Moriarty was, oh my god, wow. And I want to see how they write themselves out of the box they wrote themselves into.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil that, but you at the end of season 2, you're going, well, there goes that. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, they wrote themselves into 2 boxes, one of which they wrote themselves out of before the end.
Right.
But then there's the other one that led to the second one that you're like, okay, how are we going to do this? I mean, unless your name's Mr. Sinister, I don't think it's happening. And that was kind of a hint.
Point taken, yes. I know Sony's going to have a massive panel, as they have been for the past several years, and things they're bringing this year to their panel. Obviously, Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is getting massive pub right now on the cover of, I think it's Entertainment Weekly. There's a shot of the Spider-Man with Jamie Foxx as Electro, which
it
looks quite interesting, actually.
That's actually kind of cool. It'd be fun to see him as a villain.
They're obviously going to bring some new sequels. Like, I'm curious and I'm confused why they decided to make a sequel to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Because there's a book. It's a children's book series.
Oh, I just thought it was just for the money. I mean,
no, well, yeah, that too. But no, it's an actual book series. It's a children's book series.
But the biggest thing out of the Sony panel that I'm actually interested in is the RoboCop movie.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the finalized version of the armor. I want to see what they're going to do with it. I want to see how they're going to incorporate. I'd buy that for $1. I want to see how they do all that. I want to see the Your Move creep. I'm curious. I mean, it's Hollywood lacking imagination as always, but I'm curious about it. I really am. What I'm actually looking for, and is not on the list here, is and it's the panel I'm not going to get to see, but I would love to see, is the Venture Brothers panel.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be a hell of a lot of fun to be in.
Yeah, with the whole team is supposed, most of the team's gonna be there. And among the exclusives, there are the Comic-Con exclusives that are out each year. Last year they had the Derpy Hooves, which I tried to get. And, why did I bother? My God,
dude, day one of Comic-Con last year,
well, they had
were
some
on
set
sale.
aside for right. They had some set aside for each day, and they were gone within 20 minutes of the door open.
Easily.
And yeah, and a lot of them bought by vendors who then proceeded to jack the price. There's two things I want this year, and I should have told you this in advance so that we could have gotten pictures of them. There's a bloody Brock Samson. So it's the regular Brock Samson action figure, but he's all bloody and he's got the knife. He's got this crazy look in his eye going, ah!
So normal Brock Samson, okay.
Normal Brock Samson, only covered in blood and a loincloth. There's also the effectively Deadpool core set, where it's all the various versions of Deadpool in figures. There's Lady Deadpool,
Really?
Dog Pool, Dead Boy Pool. There's the what was that older 40s version of him? And then him.
And those are...
it's better yet, it's in a chimichanga truck, or what the figures come in, and each individual figure, their little holding thing, is a taco.
All right.
That is ultimate packaging for Deadpool. I mean,
And that's easily riding on, the coattails of the Deadpool video game, which I recently finished.
And the movie that everybody wants.
Yes.
Everybody wants this movie to happen, and including me. And I honestly think it should be Ryan Reynolds, because he's got the attitude for it.
Yeah, he needs to do away with jumping to other superhero characters and just stick with...
Well, the thing is, he wants to do it.
I know
He said in interviews he wants to do it. He's pushing to do it.
Yes.
They just have to get the right script.
True. Well, speaking of collectibles and, of course, exclusive at Comic-Con, there's always a slew of collectibles here and there. I mean, first off, I know Transformers has a ton of exclusive.
Yeah.
Partially articulated 5-pack of Generation 1 Autobots and Transformers. I mean, that's cool. Although, I kind of want the 2-foot-tall metallic Metroplex. Because that one also comes with 12 minifigs.
You mean Autobots and Decepticons, right? You said Autobots.
Sorry, Autobots and Decepticons. Yeah, I'm dumb. Sorry.
It's okay.
HBO in the chat will hurt me.
Get pissed at us,
Well, HBO in the chat, my good friend, he has, I forget how many thousands of dollars of Transformers that he's imported throughout the years. So me saying bad things like that would just be bad. We've talked about this other one before. There's actually a repaint of Kotobuki as Harley Quinn. And I look at it, I'm like...
I don't like the face sculpt on that version.
And when you first said that, I was disagreeing with you, and then I took a closer look, and it hasn't grown on me.
Yeah, well, we've got... I have here the original Kotobukiya Harley. And it's technically the same face sculpt.
Right.
But the face sculpt works if she's got her Harley Quinn head on. When you put the hair there, for some reason, it just takes away from it. I don't know why. It's the same damn sculpt. It's a repaint, but there's a big difference. And I don't like it.
True. Well, there are other things like Marvel's going to have their huge store that you can actually not only get stuff exclusive at Comic-Con, but some of the items will be available actually online on a special store where you can get, like, there's an iPhone case that actually has all the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy in there. Of course, they have a number of glasses, like beer glasses, beer mugs that have all your favorite characters on them. There is one that's the alternate using the baby versions of Avengers vs. X-Men.
He's going to be there. The guy who did all the baby covers.
Oh, really?
Scotty, first name's Scotty. I don't remember his last name. He's going to be at Comic-Con doing signings.
Scotty Young.
Scotty Young. So if you've got any of the Scotty Young covers and you're going to Comic-Con, get them signed.
Nice. Very nice. And, of course, what Comic-Con wouldn't be complete without variant covers up the yin-yang.
Oh, yes.
The two that I really want to get, and Michael, when you go, I will give you money. I will give you cash to go get these.
If I can find them.
Yes, I know. Is this one? First one is going to be X-Men, the latest X-Men, Uncanny X-Men number 8, variant by J. Scott Campbell. And if you look at it close enough, it's actually all the X-Men characters from this series cosplaying as other characters from the
female X-Men characters.
Yeah, all the female, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the minute Nikki hears about this, we will be in line for it, I guarantee.
Good.
Because it's Scott Campbell.
Yes. I have his
The only thing she obsesses over more than Scott Campbell is G.I. Joe. It's
Sure. I also have his other one where he did a My Little Pony one. So
yeah.
And speaking of which, there's actually another one for Deadpool Kids Kills Deadpool, and this one with all the Marvel characters in pony mode.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. I may pick it up, but that's kind of scary.
I kind of want
now, is
this
that
one.
issue 2 or is that? Oh no, it's a variant on issue 1.
It's a variant of issue 1 by Goody Hoodoo.
That is so messed up.
Yeah, it's a
Awesomely,
limited,
but
it's a
messed
limited
up.
run of only 1,500 copies. So
I'm not going to get it then. It'll be gone. Still, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of what's happening at Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, totally. And Sideshow's going to be there with their booth.
Oh, that's right.
So all the stuff that's coming out for Sideshow Collectibles this year, you're going to see. They're going to have the Harley there. They're going to have the Storm Shadow that Nikki just got. They're going to have. There's a new. They're doing Brock Sampson and Molotov cocktease.
Nice. You need to take pictures of all the Pacific Rim figures that Sideshow's doing, because I know they have a few of the kaiju that they
those will be there. Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll have the prototypes for the mechs.
Because
I've seen NECA's NECA's figures. They're like a 7-inch model and an 18-inch model, and they're designed to be played action figures and whatnot. It doesn't have all the detail I'm looking for, but the ones I've seen from Sideshow are absolutely mind-boggling.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately,
Sideshow,
they're also $400 a pop.
You really want to hate me, Jason? They did Hero Clicks of Pacific Rim.
Now you're just making me spend money.
I walked into the comic shop this morning, today, and I'm looking around. I'm seeing the Hero Click. I'm going, okay, no, wait a minute, Pacific Rim. Oh crap! At that point, I'm just like, Nikki, here's my credit card. Take it away before I spend it.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm sure there'll be tons more information. I'm sure next Sunday we'll talk all about the stuff we didn't get to this week.
And I will hopefully have pictures for you all. Now, just so you know, my pictures will probably be of cosplayers and stuff on the exhibit hall floor. I'm not going to any of the panels. And you can't take pictures in the art show, so I'm not gonna be able to show you any of that.
Okay.
So, but I will try and have pictures for you guys.
Okay. All right. Well, let's wrap up our movie/Comic-Con segment with a trailer. And this actually ticks off a checkbox that we haven't checked in a while, the Disney checklist.
Oh, God. Well, every time we talk about Marvel, we're technically feeding them out.
Technically,
so,
yes. Okay. Well, this is an upcoming movie that I've been interested in for a while. It's called Saving Mr. Banks. And it's basically the story, well, Disney's version of how they were able to get the rights and actually film Mary Poppins. And it's quite interesting how, if you read, there's books about this online, you can read them, that showcase there was a lot of drama. I mean, it almost wasn't made several times over. So, but let's go ahead and show this first trailer with an interesting choice. So we have Mr. Tom Hanks playing Walt Disney.
Interesting.
So, enjoy.
Not what I expected. Although I'm liking their casting.
When I first saw this, seeing Tom Hanks as Walt Disney, I was like, well, their initial choice, as far as I was reading online, was George Clooney. So
I think Hanks is the better way to go.
Yeah, Hanks is the better
Hanks
choice.
is a much better character actor. So.
And HBO in the chat's running a quote from Tom Hanks in the Simpsons movie. Hi, I'm Tom Hanks. The government has lost its credibility, so I'm borrowing mine. So it's borrowing mine. I was just on TV the other day. So yeah, that's going to come out this December. I will probably go see it. Because I've read the books about this. I want to see how much Disney has tweaked to make them look better. So
I don't know. I'm hoping.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, it's going to be sanitized slightly. You expect that.
You expect this, yes. All right. Well, let's move on and let's bring our guest on, because it seems like over the past few months we've been talking about
had a guest in a while.
About Kickstarters, and there's been a number of them that, especially in the anime and, of course, and just in general geek fandom, has been popping up left, right, and center. And there's actually one that I'm actually very interested in, and I'm hoping I can go to. It looks very cool. And of course, we're talking about InvaderCon III: Final Doom. Now, given the fact that InvaderCon should have been just a single con, and now they're pushing for a third, but who better to bring, to tell us about this than why don't we just bring the people that are behind it, especially one Mr. Tom Croom. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, did you unmute him?
Yes, I did.
There he is.
Yes.
Huh? What? Huh?
Welcome to the show, Tom.
Well, thank you. It's very, very odd when you guys started. I couldn't hear anything, so it was like watching a silent movie. And I kind of got the gist of you guys talking about cool Transformers toys, which I'm a huge fan of. The entire wall behind me, you can't necessarily tell, but I own an entire collection of every incarnation of Optimus Prime, basically ever made ever. So
Nice.
that's what all those shells are. And then I saw the cool Disney Mary Poppins preview, which have a friend actually just that worked on Cloud Atlas with Tom Hanks. So now I watch his feed for random photos of things that I should really care about. But appreciate you guys having me on to talk about what I have affectionately started calling our hobby gone horribly wrong, which is basically right now it's the focus is InvaderCon. What InvaderCon is, for those of you that aren't familiar, there was a cartoon about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, called Invader Zim, which I pretty much equate very well to the 1960s Star Trek. Okay, follow me on this one, because once I'm done, you'll go. Oh, I don't. Can you guys swear on the show? I don't know what I can say.
Go for it.
So once I'm done with my analogy, you go, oh, shit, he's right. Star Trek in the 60s ran for a couple of seasons. And then after it finished running, technically, like any other show, it should just be dead and over with. But the fans loved it so much that, damn it, it stayed alive. And it stayed alive for decades afterwards, strictly based on fan movement and by fan gatherings and getting them together to do stuff. Invader Zim's the same way. Technically, that show started over 12 years ago. And it died at...
Right?
Yeah, it was canceled what people thought was before its time, just like Star Trek. And its fans stuck with it through reruns, watching the same episodes over and over again, just like Star Trek. And to this day, you can still walk into Hot Topic or go to a convention and Mighty Fine Tees still makes new merchandise regularly for a show that was canceled over a decade ago. So when we created InvaderCon was our homage to classic 70s, 80s Star Trek conventions, which don't really exist anymore. You have your San Diego Comic Cons, your Dragon Cons, even your large multimedia expos, and even your anime cons are all about a genre. But very rarely do you find anymore this is a fan convention about one show, one particular property, like classic Star Trek. And InvaderCon was our attempt to do that. I wound up becoming friends with this crazy guy named Richard Horvitz. And Richard Horvitz, I keep looking at where my head is, and I got to hold still.
There you go.
Richard Horvitz, the voice of Invader Zim. After we worked on a couple shows, we would still keep in touch and talk, and he would end every conversation with a joke. And the joke would be like, so when are we doing ZimCon? And one night after, BSing about something, I decided to look up while I had him on the phone. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look up. We can't do ZimCon. It's actually ZimCon.com is owned by a company called Zimmerman Construction. Screw it. But then I came up with the name InvaderCon, and we put it out on the internet kind of as a joke, saying, hey, the Invader Zim convention, InvaderCon. There was no real plan. We literally just planted it out there. And the second we threw the meat to the wolves, they all pounced. And suddenly we started going, there might be something here. So we created the first InvaderCon. And we drew over 1,000 people to Atlanta, Georgia, of all places, that were fans of the show, with a lot of the voice actors and writers. And it was a risky thing for us to do because, normal conventions that you run annually in a city, and they're successful in that city, and you grow your fan base. This was literally a drop out, walk out on stage, finish the show, take the mic, drop the mic, and go, good night, and walk out, and that was the goal of a one-time only show. It allowed me to test my crew at Wasabi Anime to see if we could do a show outside of our normal region of Florida. and it was a success. It paid all the bills. People made a little bit of money, but we weren't like breaking any records. But the important part to us was it felt like an old '80s Star Trek convention. Kids were crying on Sunday because they were like, we're going to leave InvaderCon and we're not going to see InvaderCon, Invader Zim, and parents were there with their kids. It was a different vibe than swimming in a sea of 50,000 people. So once that was done, we're like, okay, we dropped the mic, good night. And then all of a sudden, a little website, a little group called The Nerdist picked up on a video of ours of a script reading. We have the cast read an unproduced script, and suddenly gangbusters, our fandom went from a couple thousand people on Facebook to over 10,000. And they're all like, I just learned about InvaderCon. I didn't get to go. And we started joking we'd never do it again unless we could get Jonan Vasquez, the creator, to actually do a Invader Zim convention. And if you know anything about Jonan, you know that's basically like,
pulling teeth from a mule.
Yeah, one of those hell freezes over moments. So we actually were toying with it, playing with it, and lo and behold, I got a phone call one night. Jonan called and said, you know what, if you bring it to LA, I'll do it. So in risking things even more, we packed up the show from Florida, went as far away from Florida as possible to Los Angeles, California, hosted another InvaderCon. Again, over 1,000+ people showed up. We sold tickets in 42 different states and 7 different countries. People traveled around the world for this convention. Again, a huge risk. And, I'm not a big gambler. 2 risks was plenty. They both panned out, but they were extremely stressful on my team, myself, and we said, you know what? That was great. We did 2. We're done. And then, of course, the internet decides to start yelling at us, going, I live in the Midwest. I never got to go. You hate me, and blah, blah, blah. So we decided to try something different this time around. And using the specs of the first 2 InvaderCon, we figured out the base cost of, hey, how much did it cost for us to do InvaderCon 1 and InvaderCon 2 in Atlanta and LA, and renting the hotel and the space for the convention, and insurance and tech. And the number comes to about $30,000 and change.
That's actually fairly inexpensive, surprisingly.
It is, and that's part of our pride in Green Mustard Entertainment, is we have kind of perfected the model of we can run a show without volunteers, use only staff, and do it on a high-skilled staff base as opposed to a give me 100 volunteers base. And it actually lowers our overhead and creates, in our opinion, a better show. But that in mind, we did the math, and that's zero profit. That's paying the bills, making sure that nobody loses their shirt, and then we can start trying to build a show on top of that. So we use that as the number and put out a Kickstarter a couple months ago saying, hey, if you guys pick the place, if you guys succeed at the Kickstarter, we made it for $33,333 because we're extremely sarcastic. And for anybody who knows anything about Kickstarter, it's about $30,000, but Amazon and Kickstarter take their percentages. So after $33,333, yeah, we're getting about $29,999. So drink my tea here. So we did the Kickstarter, and we had the plan ready to go that if it succeeded, we would do the show. If it didn't succeed, we wouldn't do the show, but at least we had plausible deniability of, hey, guys, we tried. That's it. We didn't plan for scenario number 3, which was do the Kickstarter, have them get really, really damn close, and then get pissed at us.
And you guys got as close as I've ever seen any Kickstarter to get with and fail.
Yes.
I was like, man.
Ended about 4,000 away from goal out of the 33,000, 29 and change. And the number one email we got flooded afterwards was, I would have pledged if I knew where the hell it was going to be. So we went online and we took suggestions, and we picked, we vetted like 6 places originally, and it came down to a choice of 3 places: Indianapolis, Austin, and Orlando, Florida. Orlando, Florida would have been the laziest for us, and trust us,
that's where you're based out of, right?
Yes, and we're based out of Orlando, but the popularity of Austin and Indianapolis kind of spiked enough higher that we had to look at these 2 locations. And they were within 3% of each other, Indianapolis and Austin, and we made the decision to go with Austin. South by Southwest is there. Rooster Teeth just did their expo. It's a town that's very, very conducive to geek fandom, tech fandom. And honestly, Indianapolis is awesome, and Gen Con is there. I'll be there for that. But Gen Con's team is based out of Seattle, so we have connections and people willing to help us. But we had to make a decision, and Austin was it, so we can hit all the awesome food in Texas. Lots of steak, lots of donuts, lots of fatty goodness. Looking forward to it. And we launched the Kickstarter a month ago, and as of today was actually a good red letter date to talk about this. The original Kickstarter, when it failed, was at $29,181, just shy of the 33 that we're going for. As of today, we have 7 days left for the Kickstarter, and we already passed that original number. As of right now, we're at 29,391.
Oh,
which
wow.
means,
So you guys are right on that edge.
Yeah, so we have a week to go. We need less than $4,000, which is why we're scouring the internet and reaching out to everyone we can, because honestly, the math comes down to that's less than 100 admission tickets at $45, which is if you pledge $45, you get an admission ticket to the convention in Texas. If you decide you don't want to go or something happens, it's a coupon code, so it's transferable. So you could buy 4 tickets, buy them for your Christmas gifts, give them away at the end of this year, hold on to the codes, whatever. But it's a really, really interesting, and it's a really neat, unique ecosystem of fans that have worked so hard to push and try to make this happen. And again, like I said, I do 20 conventions. I've been to over 50 in the past 10 years since I got into this, and nothing has compared to the experience of the old classic 80s. And you guys are older, some of you will remember this. The old classic 1980s. We're here to celebrate one show. There's passion about behind the one show, and this is such a unique conundrum of a show of a Nickelodeon cartoon that was very obviously not just for kids. It's classic days of Looney Tunes. You can be an adult, watch it, and get something entirely different from watching that show. So
the last con that was the single thing I ever went to was the one-off Babylon 5 con that was at the LA Fairgrounds many moons ago.
And you get a different, and again, I love, trust me, I'm the first person drunk and the last one throwing up at Dragon Con every year, but it's you're shopping at a mega mall where you have a choice of here's the millions of things to go for. And even when we did InvaderCon, the second one, and the popularity took off, we had voice talent from other Nickelodeon shows contacting us going, I'd love to come out and be a guest for your show. And I'm like, were you ever on an episode of Zim? And they're like, no, I'm from this show, and I know so and so. And I'm like, I appreciate that, but it sounds weird in today's fan convention market. We're about one single show and celebrating that one show. And I think that sets us a world apart. And obviously the fans are pushing it really hard. And any, 7 days, we need just less than $4,000. If there's that one guy that's bored listening right now and you just want to go ahead and pledge $4,000, I will be thankful, and I'll have Richard Horvitz, the voice of Zim, crank call you at 3 in the morning. How's that? And he'd do it as a favor. But yes, and I see you guys have the link there. The easy one also to get to is it's InvaderCon.com/Kickstarter. Easy to remember. But that's it. I mean, you guys have anything you wanted to ask or know or particular about the show? Or
well, when you were bringing up the fact that all these other voice actors and whatnot from different shows are coming to you saying, yeah, I would love to be a part of it, but it's not part of Zim. In the back of my mind, I was going, dude, you wouldn't be able to do like a Nickelodeon con because they own the rights to it. Yeah.
Well, and that's a great question. It was weird when we do this, and if you look at our website, everything else, we're very, very careful not to infringe on any IP, which is in the world of anime conventions, there's a gray rule that exists because of that. We're playing with Nickelodeon. It's like playing with Disney or companies like that they're very, very protective of their IP.
Right.
They're not afraid to launch the attack lawyers.
Correct. And the best thing that happened that we enjoyed so much is the promotions department from Nickelodeon sent 2 people out to the first InvaderCon, and they trolled the convention and revealed themselves to me and actually donated a couple things and on the second InvaderCon sent us a bunch of prizes. So while they can't officially sanction our convention for obvious intellectual property reasons, Nickelodeon has actually been very supportive of their own fans of their show, which is in this industry very refreshing to see, and it was really, really nice of them. So, and the dog agrees.
Yeah, I know my dog's been barking in the background. Yeah, that's Brooklyn. I look look at fan cons like this, and the fact that you were only planning to do 1 and then 2, and now it looks like you most likely will get 3 if you can get an extra $4,000 in the next 7 days, which I think you will.
I'd be shocked if you didn't, to be honest.
Yeah. I look at this going, okay, these individual fan cons, do you foresee working, well, not InvaderCon IV, we're not going to go for that, but I'm saying, do you have an idea for any other similar type of cons for maybe a different type of show or a different event? Because I know you're always thinking of different ideas. I mean, you work on how many conventions now?
Yeah. Well, and the trick to it is finding something with the passion it all hinges on the passion of the fans. InvaderCon 3 will be
Joss Whedon show I know of that has a grip ton of fans, and I don't think it's had a formal convention yet.
Actually, they have, and it failed miserably.
Really?
Are you talking about the Firefly?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, there's a story if you Google it somewhere, and again, that's the fun part, and Jason's known me for a while. I'm a fount of useless convention knowledge. Somebody tried to put one together. It did horribly. It was in LA, and when they had sold all the tickets, they didn't confirm or had trouble getting some of the Firefly people together, and the ones in LA showed up anyway on their own just to make sure that their fans weren't disappointed. So it's a great testament to that sort of fandom interaction. Right. As far as where we would go with it, I like trilogies. I mean, there's 3 great Star Wars movies. Right. Only 3. 3 great Star Wars movies, and it's a great trilogy, and I like trilogies. So doing a final InvaderCon allows us to, we always had ideas of, here's what we could have done at 1 or 2, and we just didn't get the chance, because again, we were hedging our bets based on the risk. If the bills are paid, then we get to go to town and go, oh, here's some crazy shit we had in mind. Let's go ahead and do this.
Right.
And build it as a solid trilogy. As far as another show after that, we've listened and we talked to a lot of fans. I mean, right now, Green Mustard Entertainment owns Florida Anime Experience, which is, we coined ourselves the anime convention about anime. Our rules strictly prohibit playing Halo in the video game room. We don't have My Little Pony and Homestuck. I mean, they're welcome to come, but you can't win contests or participate because we focus so well. Florida Comics Experience is launching next month in Melbourne, Florida, because everybody wants to read comic books on the beach. We're going to give them an excuse. We own Pinup Palooza, which is a pinup girl convention we're developing on the East Coast, which is, again, it's a fandom. It's just it's a unique one we're building. And then WasabiCon is our, Dragon Con, San Diego Comic Con. Something needed to happen in Jacksonville, Florida. We threw it all there together, and people are having fun. But InvaderCon, once it's done, there's going to be a gap open that we're looking at. What is the show? And Whedon fans are extremely, extremely passionate. Lord knows when I met my now wife 13 years ago, part of the requirements we were dating was she bought and made me sit through every damn episode of Buffy and Angel. All of them. And there was some amazingness in there, and then there's some, Double Meat Palace.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, overall it was it's just a matter of finding another fan base outside of Invader Zim that is that passionate. The only one that's shown up that's been that passionate, but I just won't touch because they're crashing it on their own, is My Little Pony.
Yeah, there are a few Brony conventions that are doing it the right way, but most of them are having trouble with that. As long as no one tries to pull a Naruto trek again, then we'll be fine.
Oh, God. Why you gotta hate on my state, man?
Hey, that's your state, man. They pulled the Naruto trek.
I was at the very first Naruto trek with the owner of Spooky Empire, which is one of it's probably the largest horror convention in the Southeast, and the owner of Florida SuperCon, which is the largest Comic Con in South Florida. The 3 of us met there, went straight to the bar because the bar had a great overlook of the entire convention, and proceeded to get drunk and watch Walter Koenig get annoyed by a bunch of people in orange jumpsuits. It was awesome. It was just, you can't recreate a train wreck that great if you tried. They tried, though. They did try to do a second one, but it just didn't live up to the amazingness of the first one. But again, we're hoping, and just like you said, I mean, I try not to be optimistic. I try to be realist. $4,000 is still $4,000. It's a lot of money to raise, even in just 7 days. But we are ahead of last time. We're damn close, and I'm really pulling for the fans to pull this out because I've already talked to Richard Horvitz, Ricky Simons, a number of the voice actors, the writers, and the concept of doing this just one more time, taking what we learned at the first two, and then just, again, for lack of a better phrase, just coming up with some really cool, crazy shit we have in mind to do. I think the Zim fans will be very, very happy.
And
well, we definitely hope you guys get it. And like I said, I'll be shocked if you don't, because I know I personally loved Zim, especially Gur. So yeah, definitely. And if it does go off, which I'm fairly confident it will, we'll see if we can't show up as and talk about it. So
definitely, yeah. If we get it to launch, I'll come back on the show again and maybe bring more famous nerds than me to come talk with me about it. So,
Nice.
but right now it's. Guys, I appreciate the support. Anybody listening and watching, if you haven't already, please pledge $1, $10, $45, get a sticker. There's a $2,500 pledge that if you actually take it, somebody took it last time, they haven't taken it this time. If you get the $2,500 pledge, the day before InvaderCon, we take you and a guest and take Ricky Simons and Richard Horvitz, the voice of Zim and Gur, and take you out to a private dinner with the two of them and force you to watch them eat. You're paying us money for that hell. So
the question is, do you watch them eat, and are they eating using those voices? Is it Gur and Zim go to dinner?
Richard slips in and out of it depending on how excited he gets. And honestly, his voice is so distinct. We'll be places together. And even walking around hotels during conventions, he knows, like, we'll get in an elevator and he will just shut up because he knows some kid will recognize him from Billy and Mandy or Angry Beavers or, any of the dozens of hundreds of other roles he's done. So, like, we'll have a conversation and I'll see him do it. Like, we'll see the elevator open, kids start walking in, and he just shuts up. He knows. Because his voice is it's that distinct, but that's also what's, got him to where he is. My favorite fanboy moment of anybody is I had a friend on my staff named John, and John and I have been friends for over 10 years or 13, 15 years working at Universal Studios together. And he helps me out with my shows in Orlando. And he came to work a show with me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the voice of Invader Zim. And he's staring at me and goes, he looks familiar. And John doesn't like anime. He's not into cartoons. He's not into any of our standard nerd shit. And suddenly this look comes across his face, and he's like, oh my God, that's Ekin from Summer School. And I'm like, yes, it is. And at that point, instead of being like, he was normal up until that point, but at that point, it was somebody he gave a shit about. And I'm like, listen, but Zim, none of that mattered. Summer School was the most important thing in the world for him. And again, I joke all the time, we're all famous for something for somebody, and that was his nerd thing, and he loves it. And every year he comes to help out when he can, just because of Summer School. So there you go.
Well, my last question for you regarding InvaderCon 3, if it actually does happen, and damn well better, will you be bringing back the Meet the Guest, I'm making waffles breakfast?
Yes. Yeah, both.
Sweet.
The I'm Making Waffles breakfast and the Dinner of Doom are both on deck. Actually, those were things that sold out immediately on the pledges. We have toyed with, and I'm going to say this out loud and then get in trouble later for bringing it up.
Don't worry, this is being recorded anyway, so you know.
Yeah, I know. It'll be on the internet, and then suddenly the Invader Zim fans that are watching will post it all over Facebook. But we have talked about, if the Kickstarter is successful, talking to the guests and doing a breakfast on both mornings. And just to try to get the extra coverage, because both of them sell out instantly every time.
Right.
But that decision honestly hinges on once we find the property and know how much space we have. If I can get a giant dining room like I did in LA, then it's like we just shoved a ton of tables and never sold out. In this one, we had to limit it because we don't know the size of it. And if it's a smaller room, there's nothing telling us, maybe we'll do it twice. And if there's something I've learned about, celebrity voice, talent, guests, actors, writers, it's while they enjoy meeting their fans and doing stuff, giving them food during a convention makes them very happy. So,
yes, very much so.
Throwing them. So, yes, the Dinner of Doom and the I'm Making Waffles breakfast are both slated to reappear at InvaderCon 3.
Sweet.
Nice.
All right. Well, Tom, thank you very much for jumping on. I'm really hoping you get that extra money. Fan cons like this are a blast to be at. And
and that's where I started. I mean, I started in fan cons, and I hope to continue in fan cons. So definitely keep us posted on how this goes, man.
I started getting into this in 1991 or two. 91. I won a costume contest at a Trek Fest while I was in high school and met George Takei.
Nice.
And then 5 years ago, I got to go to a party with him. And I said, hey, not to sound like a complete nerd, but when I was 16 years old. And he was totally cool about it. But honestly, it's pop culture in America succeeds based on fandom. And fandom succeeds based on the success and quality of fan conventions themselves. And we can't fall down the road of Walmart. Walmart's successful. And God bless them. You can go there at 2 a.m, buy whatever the fuck you want. But the reality of it is, you want to put out a quality product, and that's our goal. And I think, Invader Zim fans have seen that. I think convention fans want that. And God knows I'll keep doing this until I'll be my favorite cosplayer at DragonCon every year. There's an older guy who shows up every year who's a dead ringer for Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars Episode 4. And I hope to God that when I am in my 60s and 70s, that I am still that cool and well-adjusted that I can show up and look that damn good cosplaying in a sea of all the other people. And it's a weird goal to have, but again, I love being a part of it.
There are worse people to look like than Alec Guinness, so it's all good.
I know, but just the concept of staying a part of pop culture in America and helping support it, it's part of our culture, and the more we celebrate it, I think the more fun everybody has. So again, guys, thanks for having me on the show.
Yes,
hey,
thank you. You're welcome
man.
back anytime. Thank you very much, Tom.
Cool.
All right. Well, moving on from that, I don't know how you can really top that now. I mean, the whole fact that you have Gerb, Zim,
I think that's well, there's one thing we could probably go with. I mean, we're running a little long, but that's okay. And let's just go ahead and jump to number 44.
Okay. Well, let's start with let's go with we'll wrap things up before we wrap up as we always do.
I say let's do 44.
Yes.
You want to do 44?
Yeah, because we're talking about deals. We've talked about deals, we've talked about Kickstarters, we've talked about the Mega Tokyo Kickstarter, which ends in 4 days. Granted, they've only asked for 20,000, and they're already at, I think, 243,000.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think they're gonna have to worry about making their numbers.
Yeah, Fred's doing good. You guys definitely want to back this Kickstarter for InvaderCon III. They're only $4,000 short. This is their second time around trying to get this third one going. You guys want to check it out.
Zim is an awesome show.
I mean,
it's. I don't want to. I can't tell you how many times I just watch the show just for Gur.
Yes, very much so. But the other thing you want to spend your money on this week and for at least the next, I would say, 7 to 8 days, would be Steam's annual summer sale.
Oh yes,
because
those evil bastards have done it again.
Yeah, they started 3 days ago, and I've already grabbed a few games for myself. But
what'd you grab?
So far, I've grabbed Fez because I've been wanting to play that game, the 2D with the 3D shift perspective, which is tons of fun.
Right.
I picked up Just Cause 2, and this is
the mindless violence.
Mindless violence. I can hook onto jet planes and bring them down, and it was $3. And I caved in. We've talked this game on the show before. And
did you get Defiance?
Yes, I did get Defiance.
Oh, you bastard!
Because
you have to tell me how it is.
Yes, because when it first came out, there was no demo. You had to pay either $60 for the regular, $100 for the limited edition, and I was kind of hesitant. And then it was thrown up on Steam Summer Sale day one for $13, and I went, "Damn it!"
Yeah, no, I had that same problem. I saw that, and then they had BioShock for $5. And I've had BioShock 1 before, but for $5, put it on my Steam account. Hell yeah!
And let's see what the daily deals are for today. Kerbal, which I've heard is actually quite addicting. You can check that one out. That's only $13.79. It's 40% off. Not the best deal. If you haven't played Portal 2, you have no more excuses because it's $5.
75% off. Yeah, $5 for Portal 2.
Yeah.
That game was... I actually had more fun with Portal 2 than I had with Portal 1. Although I think the writing was better in Portal 1.
I'm kind of tempted to pick up Hitman Absolution. I mean, I love a Hitman game. It's only $6. Arma 2, do I really want to get it just for the expansion pack thing? No. I was kind of surprised to see a brand new game that only just recently came out. Remember Me?
Remember Me? Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that's a good game too.
And it's 40% off. It's not a big a deal as everything else, but you know what? It's still, discount.
What's Infinite going for?
BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
I think it's still at
29.
Yeah. Well, I can find out real quick. Give me a second. Well, I know they have Borderlands 2 now.
Yeah, Borderlands 2 is really.
Borderlands 2 is $10.
Down in half.
Tomb Raider, which I'll probably pick up. Finally. They had it on sale already a few days ago for 17 and change. They dropped it to 75% off for $12.49.
Oh,
but if you get the 17 and change price, you get like 9 other Tomb Raider games along with it.
Oh, so you get the whole spiel.
Yeah, for like 17
I think
bucks.
that's all there are. I think it's a total of 9 games.
Mm-hmm. Let's see now.
Yeah, there's 9 games total.
Yeah, you get them all for like 17 bucks right now. This is the problem with Steam.
Yeah,
No,
Steam's evil that way.
In a normal Steam.
In a good way. It's a good evil, but it's still evil.
Yeah, it's definitely a first world problem. In the sense that when Steam has a regular game in a regular sale, you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. It's a cool game and whatnot. Oh, I don't have as much money for it. Maybe I'll just hold off on getting it. But during a Steam sale, it's like, you don't even look at the game sometimes. You just look at, it's under $5. It's $3 for a game. I will buy it.
I'm willing to spend $3 to try it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm kind of surprised I'm not seeing BioShock Infinite on. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's not.
It's only 25% off now, so it's $45 right now. So
which is it's worth it.
It's still worth it. Yeah.
I mean, that game was epic.
Yeah.
I haven't been that into a game since the ending of Arkham City.
Aside from the daily sales that they reset every day at 10 a.m. Pacific, they also have the flash sales that change every like 8 hours. And they just swapped a little while ago, and currently they have a game called The Swapper. I've never heard before for $7.49. Spec Ops: The Line, which I heard was pretty decent, is also $7.49. Trackmania, which is just addicting, is $10. It's half off.
And it's addicting to make the tracks.
True. And the one reason why you should probably pick up a flash sale within the next 7 hours and 50 minutes, Poker Night 2 is half off. It's $2.50 for the bloody game.
I have been playing the hell out of that game. But that's just the iOS game, isn't it? Is there a PC version of it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because I've been playing it on the iOS.
Yeah, no, it's the exact same game. And I think it may have been passed already, but you can actually get the first Poker Night on Steam for half off for $2.50 right now as well. So tempting. We're enablers. As I hear him typing and going. All right. Okay, guys. Well, as we always wrap things up, Michael, what have you been watching?
I've been watching. Actually, I saw something really cool the other day. The Hitler Channel, aka History Channel.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, what?
National Geographic and History Channel take turns flipping which one's going to be the Hitler Channel. Mm-hmm. Because they'll do this thing where they'll run a whole bunch of World War II stuff, mostly about Hitler. So that's why they get the nickname, the Hitler Channel. Mm. The Hitler Channel of this week was the History Channel. They did a thing on the stealth plane that Hitler had built towards the end of the war. Mm-hmm. Oh God, I forget what it was called. I forget the name of it, but they actually had built. There were two versions of it built. The original prototype that actually got to fly, and the pilot ended up crashing it after like 30 flights. Something went wrong and he crashed it. Oof. The second one, they had just finished building it when the war ended. So the guys who had designed it ran away, and they left a fully intact German flying wing jet fighter. Because what they were trying to do is they were trying to defeat the radar that the UK had. So where I'm going with this is they got a team from Northrop Grumman's Skunk Works. Gave them access to the original plane that is in archives in Washington, D.C., that you have to get special permission to even look at, let alone, or to enter the spot, let alone look at the plane. They let them take measurements. One of the guys on the team had spoken to the original designers and recreated the blueprints. And they built a full-scale mock-up using the materials the plane was made of, or simulating them as best as possible. Put it on their big, this rotator thing. They put on this big 5-story tall arm, rotated the plane from every angle, shot radar at it to see how stealthy it really was. And whether or not it was indeed the first stealth plane. The answer is yes, it was. It sufficiently reduced its radar signature that had Germany gone into production with it 4 months earlier, we would be speaking German right now. Because it reduced the detection distance by 20%, which means that 20% was enough for the reaction time to be less than 9 minutes. And there's no way they could have stopped because these things were going 1,000 kilometers an hour. It was just fascinating to me. And it's a beautiful plane. I mean, yeah, the Nazis were evil. I agree. The Nazis were evil, but Hitler was a maniac. But God damn, that was a beautiful plane.
Okay.
That was my geek moment. Sorry.
Gotcha.
But no, they had. Oh, I'm sorry. The Northrop Grumman folks measured it, and like I said, they built it. I just said that. Never mind. I'm repeating myself. If you get a chance to see it, it's called Hitler's Stealth Fighter. Watch it.
All right.
It's absolutely fascinating.
I will take a look out for it. As for me, aside from watching the latest anime, which I'll get to this Wednesday on Anime Break, which is going to be all about the summer anime series, so you guys want to look out for that. So I won't talk about that here, but I will give a completely spoiler-free review right now, a quick review of Pacific Rim.
229, by the way. Yes. Thank you.
So when you go into this, if you read the reviews online, their reviews are kind of mixed. But the thing is, though, when you read the reviews of most of the ones who are kind of confused, they don't understand what it is. They were looking for, it's going to be like G.I. Joe, or it's going to be, like a something that America's used to seeing on the big screen. No, it's not. This is an homage to giant mecha, big kaiju flicks. Guillermo del Toro did a fantastic job capturing that feel.
It looks like it's really, and it looks like borderline comic bookish because all the scenes I've seen, the colors are really saturated.
Yes.
I mean, it's like the neons everywhere.
That
and it's
the neon areas, the neon city is Hong Kong. Okay. So they put massive amounts of neon everywhere, and it kind of makes sense because the kaiju blood glows blue, so it kind of it enhances everything. It really works to capture the essence of kaiju flicks. It is a little over 2 hours long, about 2 hours 11 minutes, but it goes by without ever feeling like it was slow. Okay. The actors and actresses they picked for it played the parts right. The character development, there's really not much, but you know what? For a film like this, you don't need character development. You need to have fun, and you have...
Monsters bad, robots good, kick ass.
Oh, yeah. And I have to say that...
Oh, and use a ship as a baseball bat.
God. There were people cheering in the theater when that happened. I was one of them. I was just like, he's a giant mech walking down the street lugging a tanker and using it like a baseball bat or a sword. Now, that's not a spoiler because that's in the trailer. So
that's in the trailer. That's fine.
The way they try to describe the whole, where the kaijus are coming from and whatnot, the scientists they have are... they're kooky. They treat the science of kaijus and whatnot as just as kooky, but you know what? It works so well.
Cool.
It's an absolute blast. You guys need to check it out. Especially like the last hour is almost a fight scene after fight scene after fight scene. It's just exactly what you want and a lot of it.
Nice.
So you guys need to check it out. This is a movie that I'm actually going to go see probably multiple times in the theater.
Then get your ass up here. Come visit. We'll go.
Sounds good to me.
I'm gonna have a week of recovery time, dude, because they're operating on my shoulder Monday after Comic-Con. So I'm gonna be out for a week.
Gotcha.
Let's go.
All right, sounds good to me. But yeah, that's pretty much what
I may be stoned while I'm watching it, but I'll go. Painkillers, you know?
Well, you know. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for this episode. Again, I want to give thanks to Tom Croom for jumping on. You guys need to check out InvaderCon 3's Kickstarter. I believe it was invadercon.com/Kickstarter. Go check it out. Go back it.
Invader Zim deserves the support. You know,
Yes.
all the other crap aside, this show was awesome. The con needs support. It's Invader Zim, for crying out loud.
Exactly.
How could you not love Invader Zim? I loved you, Zim. I loved you.
All right, then. Well, I guess we're going to call it at that. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this week. Be sure to come back next week. We're here every single week at 5 p.m. Pacific. Also, stay tuned for Anna Break on Wednesdays at 7. Stay tuned for our post show. Why are you showing the disembodied head again? And on that bombshell, no. And on that note, we'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody.